bought some of these, I think it was 10 mil, 10 or 12 mil, whatever it is, rubber tubing. Just trying to cut a square edge on it. That didn't work very well. Let's try a pair of scissors. That's better. And I've only bought a metre and they've sent me 1.5 meters, which is lovely. And I've got a balsa disc and 2 plywood discs. And the idea is I'm going to make this slightly oversized. No, I'm not. I'm going to make it sort of like that, and it'll hold it so far. And if it doesn't, I'll just put a few little blocks of CA around to hold it. So I need to cut this to size, and it's going to be slightly smaller than what is there. So if I go, say, about there, let's make it there, stretch it on a bit, see what happens. Cut it as square as I can. I'm going to, okay, it doesn't look too bad. I'm going to glue it on the, off the wheel like that. CA, drop it in there. This is closed cell, so it should not soak in, it should just soak into the cells. Let's just make sure it's at the edges. And just put it straight on there. Let's move it off of there slightly. Being rubber, should glue pretty well. Neoprene rubber. Rotate it through any amount of degrees you like to get a really nice join showing. Very small opening there, that. And if I can just close that up. It goes slightly hard where the join is, but it doesn't matter. So there's a tyre that can now go on there. So, yeah, there we are. One very easy, fairly cheap to make tyre. I think this was £3, and of course the plywood I've already got, as in the balsa, you know, you've already got it, haven't you? So I've sleeved the middle of the wheel to act as a bearing with a bit of plastic tubing. So I can now finish the wheel, and I'm going to make a cone to sit on there as well. The cone will have to fit on after the wheel's been fitted, because the wheel's retained with a collet and I don't want the collet to show. I want that to be inside the cone. Just wondering if I could try a different technique. A big blob of it there, spread it around a bit and sort of dip it in. Maybe I'll have time to dip in both sides, I don't know. Okay, it's well covered. Stick it together. Big push, move it away. So I move it away from the little puddle that it's created, otherwise you'll stick the wheel to the paper. Go on the wheel like that. So there we are. That's quick, isn't it? So I'm going to finish the wheel on the inside. I think they're going to be green. I'll cut it out of paper to start with, just any old piece. Here's the piece. Now you've got to cut a straight line down from the centre . But you also have to cut a sort of a little shape in the top. That's a guess. So I've got a little shape like that, because you need that bit of shape to act as a, otherwise the paper sort of puckers up over it. Now, the question is this the right diameter? And I can vary it actually. I wouldn't say that that was overly pointy. The overlap is decent, it's about 6 millimeters. That would give me a nice cone effect. What the cone is, you've actually got spokes. It's just a piece of fabric over the spokes, which streamline them up a bit. So I'll go and find some thicker card, but the inside will have to be painted. I've got some green tissue and stuck it using a glue stick actually onto the back of this wheel, and I've also stuck two separate pieces onto a piece of card I can cut out to form the cone. So I've just thought I'd show you how hopefully this will work, how I'm going to take this off of here. It's dry, of course, so it'll be clogging the paper up. So I'm just using the edge of the plywood to cut through the tissue. I'm just sanding through onto the edge. So there we are, there's one, looking very smart. Quickly do the other one. You could just draw it out with a pencil and a compass and cut it by hand, it's no big deal. So there we are, there's one disc. I'll cut the other one out in a minute. I think I can just cut this straight down like that, and then cut a little curved shape out of there. So this will now go over there into that little groove like that, and because I've got a white edge here from the cut paper, I'm just going to get a bit of green crayon and just crayon that in because I don't want that to be visible, and I'll stick it with a 3mm overlap, do the other one, then I can put the wheel on the model, do up the collet and stick on the disc, which will be the perfect size. But I don't want to get glue all over the tyre, so I'll stick it on. I'll pop the tyre off, I'll stick it on to the wheel, and then I can slip the tyre back on with a bit of glue. Just do that edge, and the other edge is going to be tucked under, and you won't see the edge of the wheel itself because that's going to be against the blue rubber, but just in case it's vaguely visible. So I've got to glue that with a 3mm overlap, and for that I'll use a CA down the inside, peg that to 3mm like that. Okay, there's one done, good enough. So once that is glued on, once the collet's in place, I'll glue that on and put the tyre over and glue that on. So here we are around the front, and I've just trimmed the axles down with a pair of cutters so the wheel can go on there. Let's put that one on to keep it balanced, I think. The collet can go on there. Now, this collet is going to be hidden, so it wants to be really done up tight. And I'm going to stick the cone on, pop the other collet on a minute. I want to stick the cone on without the tyre being on. Not quite sure I'm going to do that. Let's just make a bit of progress here. Will our cones go on? Will they clear the collet? I'm going to put it on and give it a little press. Yeah, I think it's right there at the top actually. But hey, doesn't that look smart? So I'm going to stick these on without the tyre being on, because I think the tyre is just going to get in the way a bit. Let's just put a spacer under there a minute. So I'm going to stick this cone on the Barbarian. I'll stick this cone on. I think possibly white glue will do. I just hold it on there because it tacks really quick. Just run a bead around, I'll smooth it to the edge. Okay. Also, because the rubber's not on there, it's not going to mark it at all. So I'll just put that on there like that. What squeezes out, I can just knock off. Don't particularly want to put a peg on because it will crease the cone. If you've got a bit that won't stick, you can always put a small piece of masking tape around. It's not a bad idea. Let's just do that too. The glue grabs pretty quick, so it won't have to be on for long. There we are, the rest are good. I'll do the other one, guys, and I'll be back in a moment. There we go. I'll let those dry for a few minutes, give it a coat of dope both sides, and then it'll be time to glue the tyre on. They've had a couple of coats of dope now, so I'm going to adhere the tyre. I've very lightly roughed around the inside. I want to try using Yoo-Hoo pour glue. I tried an experiment with an offcut and it seems to stick. It sticks. It is like a contact glue actually, but I don't want to take the tyre off because I'll end up with lots of sinews of glue. I don't want that. Just running a little bit more around here and there. It's a little bit light. Okay. And I'm just going to sort of put the tyre on the bottom. I don't want to twist the tyre as it goes on, so I just want to sort of hook it on and lift it over the rim without twisting it, like that. And hopefully that'll be sticking. Okay, and that completes the wheels. That's how you make little wheels. Okay, there we are then, guys. A rather nice pair of wheels for the Sopwith triplane. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that little tutorial on wheel making, give the video a thumbs up and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.